Oye, mi gente, welcome to the Max Breakdown, where we will be diving into sports news, sports cards, and Cultura Dominican style with a twist. Please press like, subscribe, and share. Boy, another door just slammed shut for Brendan Sorsby. This time, it wasn't the NCAA. It wasn't the NFL. It was the entire CFL saying, nah, we are good. Unbelievable. The Canadian Football League dropped a hammer, bam, today, announcing they will not register a contract for Sorsby, and no team is allowed to add him to their negotiation list. They basically told them, we're protecting the integrity of our league, and you're not part of that right now. And look, Sorsby wasn't even publicly chasing Canada. But that's the point. My people, that is the point. He's running out of doors to knock on. Basically, straight up, that's what's happening. The NFL already shut the supplemental drafts down. Texas Tech is off the table after he withdrew his lawsuit. And now the CFL says, don't even try it. This is a quarterback who admitted to spending thousands of dollars on bets, nearly 90 grand. Boy, if you don't have a problem, you better check yourself. His wagers, including 40 bets on Indiana football while he was on the team. So basically, he was betting on his own team. This is not a scandal. That's a full-blown sports integrity meltdown. His attorney, Jeffrey Kessler, says the NFL violated the CBA by killing the supplemental draft, and they're ready to fight at court with the NFLPA. Good luck. But right now, Sorsby's football future looks like a hallway where every door is locked. He tries to open a door and it's locked and the lights are flickering. This isn't just a setback. I mean, what is really going on is a big time issue. I mean, I really don't know how to put it better than you shouldn't be betting on sports. You shouldn't be betting on sports, and I'm glad that they're doing something about it, because this can't continue to happen, and you gotta send a message. So I'm glad this is happening. This is a career basically on a free fall, and every league is watching the fallout like it's a live stream cautionary tale. That's basically what it comes down to. So while Brendan Sorsby is watching every league in this continent close the door on him, the New York Jets, my God, the New York Jets, because now Geno Smith, the guy they just traded for, the guy they immediately named their 2026 starter, is officially under police investigation in Davie, Florida. Jesus Christ. Like, how does this happen? How does this happen? And here's what we know. A woman claiming to be his ex-girlfriend called 911 on Sunday, saying Geno assaulted her. My gosh. She posted a video of a dispute, saying on camera that he ran outside and attacked me. No arrests were made at the scene, and at first the police said that the case wasn't even active. But then a plot twist. The department reversed course. Detectives are now actively investigating the incident. No more closed doors, no more nothing to see, and the details get even messier. The 911 call audio has her tearfully saying, "My ex-boyfriend just beat me up." She posted a caption accusing Geno of hating, taking care of his special needs child, and is choosing video games and explicit content instead. But the mother of Geno Smith's 6-year-old son jumped in on Instagram to defend him, saying he's always been capable and telling the accuser to stop dragging her child into the drama. Jesus Christ. The Jets, they are silent. The NFL, already monitoring. And let's be real, the league's personal conduct policy does not play around with these types of allegations. If the investigation finds anything credible, Geno Smith could be facing disciplinary actions before even taking a snap for the lonely and woeful New York Jets. This is the quarterback that was supposed to stabilize the Jets after years of chaos. And now he's walking into training camp with a legal cloud hanging over his head. The Jets can't escape drama. It finds them like it's a GPS lock. This is unbelievable. Like I'm blown away. I really don't know what to say. For the Jets' sake, this ain't true, and Geno Smith could start the season in a good note, and this drama just goes away. Now, to me, what this sounds like is a money grab. That's what this sounds like to me. This sounds like this lady is claiming stuff and is trying to get a guy that has money in trouble. But at the end of the day, all these athletes really, really need to clamp down and really choose who they're around very carefully, because these are the things that get you in trouble. So hopefully, this none of this was true, and this is just a lady trying to have a money grab and trying to get him for money. Now, turning the segment on its toes and flipping things around and transitioning to something better, a lot more happier moment. I want to give José Alvarado a nice round hand of applause. Yes. Let's hear it. This guy, like I have said before, I knew Jose back in 2022, and I'm very glad for him. New York basketball just delivered a storyline that feels like a warm hug from the city itself, because Jose Alvarado, Grand Theft Alvarado, Brooklyn's own Christ the King legend, is declining his $4.5 million player option and locking in a new 3-year deal worth over $14 million to stay with the New York Knicks. Let's hear another round of applause. All right. Awesome. He didn't negotiate in silence. He didn't play coy. He didn't drop cryptic emojis. He went straight to X and said, I am home. This is the type of move that hits different because Alvarado isn't just a role player. He's a culture piece. He's the guy who came home on February 5th and immediately fit like he'd been there his whole career. And Knicks fans know the moment that cemented it, that put the icing. Ladies and gentlemen, Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Yes, that game that we were down 29, season on the brink, the Garden silent, the world counting them out. And who's on the floor next to Jalen Brunson during the greatest comeback in NFL, in finals history? Yes, José Grand Theft Alvarado with 8 valuable points, 3 valuable assists, fourth quarter chaos, full court pressure, energy that flipped the entire building. He wasn't the star. He was the spark. Just goes to show you, you don't need to be the star, but you could be that spark. The guy that makes the Knicks feel like the Knicks. Let me say that one more time. The guy who makes the Knicks feel like the Knicks. This deal isn't just money. It's identity. It's continuity. It's Leon Rose. In my mind, GM of the year. It's Leon Rose saying, we're keeping the soul of this team intact. And for Alvarado, it's the dream. The kid from Brooklyn who fought his way into the league. He wasn't drafted, my people. He was not drafted. He had to earn his way into the league. He became a fan favorite in New Orleans, who got traded mid-season and ended up helping deliver a championship to the city he grew up in. Are you going to tell me this doesn't sound like a movie? This has to be put like a movie. This has to be a Walt Disney movie. Now he's staying. Now he's locked in. Now he's home. And while the Knicks are locking in their culture, the rest of the NBA is out here flipping the entire map. Because guess what? Are you ready for this? Guess what? We have LaMelo Ball, and Josh Green traded to Minnesota for Naz Reid and a mountain of picks to Charlotte. This isn't a tweak. This isn't a cat move. This is a systemic shift. Let's break it down real quick. Tim Conley has been hunting a co-star for Anthony Edwards for years. Durant, Giannis, anybody who could elevate Ant to a championship window. But he definitely found it. And it was LaMelo Ball. 24 years old. He's a 27-5 last season. Career high games played. And he shoots at a decent rate of 36.8% from three. A point guard who can run an offense, push the pace, and unlock Edwards scoring in ways that Minnesota has never had. And now the Wolves have a young core, basically locked in until 2029. You have Edwards, 24. You have LaMelo Ball, 24. You have Jaden Daniels, 25. That's not a rebuild. That is a dynasty blueprint. Minnesota's whole at point guard was a glaring need, especially after Dante DiVincenzo, hurt his Achilles. They have one of the most dynamic backcourts in the league now. For real. I mean, they really, really do. And I'm going to tell you what the twist is. LaMelo wasn't unhappy. Charlotte wasn't dysfunctional. They made the playoffs. They had just won 44 games, had the number one offense from January on. They had the number one offense since January on. That is definitely saying something. And they nearly broke a decade-long, and they broke a decade-long playoff drought. But the Hornets looked at their roster. They looked at Brandon Miller. They looked at Antetokounmpo. They looked at Kobe White, who, in reality, they're about to re-sign, and said, we're building a different way. And that's their prerogative. Naz Reid is a monster pickup. He averaged 13.6 points, 6.2 rebounds, 37% from three, which is a tad better than LaMelo Ball himself. He was the 2024 Six-Man Player of the Year. And the truth is, he's only 26 years old. And the picks, Charlotte didn't just get assets. They got control. 2033 unprotected first, second rounders in 2029, 2032, in 2033, pick swaps in 2028, 29, and 30. And that's how you rebuild without tanking. That's how you stay competitive while stacking future ammo. And remember, this team already has Brandon Miller, who averages 20 points per game, Antetokounmpo, who had a historic rookie shooting season. Cody White is expected to sign a 3-year, $74 million deal. Hines and Stambach and Christian Anderson Jr., from the draft. Charlotte went from 11 to 23 to winning 32 games of their next 45 games. They beat the Knicks, the Thunder, the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Celtics. They became one of the best teams in the basketball for 3 straight months. This isn't a teardown. This is a realignment. I personally wouldn't have done it, but to each his own. They must feel very strong about Kobe White, and they really liked Naz Reid, I guess. LaMelo Ball was with the Hornets for 6 seasons. He did win Rookie of the Year. He beat out Anthony Edwards. So now he could team up with the person that was number 2. He was an all-star. He was a play-in hero. He scored a 30-point masterpiece versus Miami. He had a tight-knit locker room that he loved. A franchise that he helped revive. I mean, who the heck liked the Charlotte Hornets? But, the truth is that injuries slowed him down. His minutes dropped. His shots dropped. Turnovers were stabilized. He even came off the bench to manage his health. He wanted to win. Charlotte wanted to grow. And now the timeline splits. LaMelo heads to Minnesota to chase a deep playoff run with Ant. Good luck with San Antonio and Oklahoma there. Good luck. Charlotte leans into a young, balanced, ascending roster. This is one of those trades where both teams walk away better. That's just the bottom line. And after all the moves around the league, that's just how it is. We had even a more surprising basketball news than this one. And everybody was just waiting for like 3 days to see what was going to happen with this man, Giannis. What was going to happen with Giannis? Because after a year of tension, injuries, culture erosion, and front office soul searching, the Milwaukee Bucks finally did the unthinkable. They traded away Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat. Crazy. And the story behind it, it's wild, it's emotional, it's messy, and it's everything that you want in a blockbuster trade. Inside the Bucks facility, the front office had a tradition. At around 6 p.m., General Manager John Horst sends out a note inviting staff to hoop downstairs to reconnect with the game that they love. But on the night that the final offers came in, Miami versus Boston, there was no pickup. How crazy is that? So everybody knew something was going down, because it's like, why isn't the tradition happening? Well, the stakes were too high. The debates too heavy. This wasn't the last night of an exhausting week-long negotiation period either. The ripple effects would be enormous. Giannis had told them multiple times he felt it was time. So basically, it was a Giannis moment. The season ended in disaster, 32 wins, a league investigation, missing the playoffs, missing the play-in, and the Bucks the Bucks basically accepted the reality that something drastic had to change. They weren't convincing him to stay. They were choosing the best future they could salvage. Boston offered Jaylen Brown, a finals MVP, a star to build around. Miami offered Tyler Hero, young talent, and a mountain of draft capital, flexibility, optionability, a real rebuild. Horst and the ownership debated deep into Father's Day. He sent everyone home early, choosing family over another endless night. And by Monday, by Monday, throughout the day, on Monday, the Bucks had gone back and forth over 2 offers. But in the end, um, you know, Miami's package, uh, they liked better. This wasn't just about roster talent. It was about culture falling apart. Players were late, meetings were missed, accountability vanished, and Miles Turner said, "Guys were late were late all the time. Giannis is going to show up whenever he wants." Wow. So basically, there you go. The firing of Buckholzer, the failed Griffin experiment, the Doc Rivers era that never clicked, the true Holiday trade that destroyed their defensive identity. Everything that made Milwaukee elite just poof, evaporated. Giannis wanted discipline. He wanted structure. He wanted a chance to win again. And Milwaukee couldn't give him that anymore. They just couldn't do it. Giannis never publicly asked for a trade at all, but he moved his family back to Greece, um, and lamented the team's habits. He questioned the direction. He was torn. I mean, this is a guy that this is the only team that he had played for, and thought many times of just playing for one team, but there was too much dysfunction between loyalty and love of a city and his desire to compete for more championship. You know, Milwaukee loved him. He loved Milwaukee for sure, but the basketball marriage had run its course, and it really did. And at the end, Miami finally landed the superstar that Pat Riley had chased for years. For years. Boston is left with an awkward Jaylen Brown situation. Milwaukee entered a full rebuild with Brandon Burris and Nate Ahmet as their new foundation. And the Bucks front office, after the draft, they finally played pickup again. That must have been very awkward. Horst went home early the first time in months. Giannis will soon be introduced as a member of the Miami Heat. Wow, we're building piece by piece a full roster of character and versatility and size. The golden era of Milwaukee is officially over. Very sad, but that's how it goes. And yeah, and now we're gonna pivot to our next topic, which is insane. And we will be talking none other than the man that was just relieved of his duties. After madness across football and basketball, we're gonna finish tonight right here in New York, with the Mets doing what the Mets do best: make headlines, all for the wrong reasons. Because Friday afternoon, the Mets officially fired manager Carlos Mendoza after after a brutal, disastrous 34-47 start, a 6-game losing streak, and a season that has been nothing short of a disaster. I mean, nothing short than a disaster. And the reaction inside the organization, it wasn't finger pointing, it wasn't scapegoating, it was accountability from the top down. David Stern, the general manager, said, "We believed in Carlos, but it's gotten worse." President of basketball operations, David Stern, didn't sugarcoat it. He said firing Mendoza wasn't about one moment. It was about months of decline. We believed in Carlos, and we haven't turned it around. In some cases, it's just gotten worse. He and the owner, Steve Cohn, made the decision together. And Andy Green steps in as the interim manager. And Stern made it clear. This wasn't about Mendoza failing. This was about the Mets failing Mendoza. Wow. Yeah. Francisco Lindor didn't hide. We failed Mendy. I failed Mendy. Bo Bichette, he echoed the same thing. Sometimes the manager has to take the fall for the team underperforming. This was about losing culture, uh, you know, not about bad talent, not about preparation, just very bad execution. 6 straight losses, 15 runs allowed to Philly, 6 infield errors in one game. Oh my God. A rotation with the 3rd highest ERA in baseball. Jesus Christ. 54 runs allowed in 6 games, my people. This isn't a slump. This is a collapse. They're 14 and a half games behind Atlanta, 9.5 behind the wild card. Fangraphs gives them a 5.2% chance to make the playoffs. But Stern refuses to punt the season. We're not turning the page. We're focused on winning as many games as we can. He insisted the talent is there. He insisted the foundation is being built. He insisted Cone still believes in him. Yeah, right. Nobody believes that. But belief doesn't equal wins. Execution does. And right now, the Mets aren't executing anything but losing. This is the wild part. Mendoza took the Mets to 2 wins short of the World Series in 2024. Crazy, right? In 2025, they had the best record in baseball through mid-June before collapsing. Stern overhauled the staff, the roster, the culture. It didn't work because the roster construction was just pathetic and it was horrible, to be honest. And now Mendoza's time is up. The season not over, Lindor said. Well, my man, I hate to break it to you. So Lindor says, this sucks, but this is on us to turn it around. You ain't doing anything. That's your ending. That's your tone. That's New York baseball. Brutal, honest, emotional. From Sorsby downfall to Geno's investigation to José Alvarado coming home to LaMelo Ball shaking the league to Giannis leaving Milwaukee and now the Mets firing Mendoza. This weekend sport wasn't just chaotic. It was cinematic. And that's why we break down right here every time on the Max Breakdown. Please press like, subscribe, and share. Mi gente, this is the Max Breakdown. Walk with faith, walk with purpose, and don't let anyone shake your spirit. El que te lo dice claro. I'll see you on the next one.